In terms of voter suppression, we're seeing a lot with respect to the pandemic in particular. There are 5 states that still will not allow concerns about COVID-19 to be a valid excuse to vote by mail. Those states are Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Indiana, and Tennessee. And so many other states, including Kentucky, has said that if you have general concerns about the pandemic, even if you're not yourself sick, you can vote by mail. But those 5 states are still requiring an excuse. We're seeing issues with respect to drop boxes and where voters can drop their ballots back off, with places like Texas limiting them to 1 drop box per county. And so imagine Houston, which is Harris County, 1 county and a single drop box. And there was a video of a huge line of cars to drop ballots off. Similar litigation going on in Ohio. We've had litigation in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania with respect to the deadline for absentee ballots to be returned because of concerns about the amount of ballots out there, as well as the Postal Service delays. So there's kind of all sorts of what people refer to as voter suppression. Yeah, that's a term that's got a very wide meaning. There's lots of things that go within what we consider voter suppression. I consider voter suppression any sort of election rule that makes it harder for people to participate without any good reason. And I think we're seeing a lot of those all around the country. And again, a lot of them tied really to voting during a pandemic. Yeah, so the courts have been very involved. There's been over 250 cases just about COVID-19 and elections in 45 states. I believe there's only 5 states that have been spared so far with respect to litigation specifically involving the pandemic and elections. And what we're seeing by and large is that plaintiffs have been somewhat successful in obtaining relief, at least at the first instance, in getting judges to rule in favor of expanded voter access. But we're seeing a lot of those cases being reversed by the appellate courts and even the US Supreme Court. A great example is in South Carolina, which did come off the list of states that were requiring an excuse besides COVID-19. Back in September, South Carolina's legislature passed a law saying that you could vote by mail if you cite COVID-19 concerns, but it did not eliminate the witness requirement for absentee ballots. So voters still have to have a witness on their absentee ballots and to sign it. And so that was challenged. And the lower court struck it down and basically said it's crazy to make someone who lives by themselves, who doesn't want to go out and be around people because of the pandemic, to go find a witness. And yet the US Supreme Court just reversed that and said that, no, we need to defer to the state legislatures, and that is too late to change the election rules this close to an election. So the trends we're seeing in the courts is, a lot of initial success for voting rights plaintiffs, but then reversal as we go up the food chain to the appellate courts and the Supreme Court.